Hello everyone, Metriko here. Coming soon will be a new personal project I've been working on, Feral Attraction Plays Dungeons & Dragons. Viro and I gathered some of our friends and we had a blast going through the starter box campaign for D&D 5th edition, The Lost Mine of Phandelver. While I initially had recorded many hours of gameplay leading up to this point, during the video editing process it became clear that what we had was not up to par, either in terms of audio quality or really my understanding of the virtual tabletop Roll20. So while we will be continuing with a new understanding and new audio recording programs, there is the fact that our party has completed an entire campaign. So if you'll humor me, please enjoy this Season 0 recap. Our adventure began with our party. Let me introduce them. We had Chug, the Goliath Barbarian, played by Note. We had Corvin, the Elven Wizard, played by Viro. Lafayette, the Human Paladin, was played by Marcus. Quarian, the Half-Elf Bard, was played by Rhythm. And Uzmor, the Human Cleric, played by Metriko. These 5 adventurers had been contacted by Gundren Rockseeker with a request to escort a wagon from Neverwinter to Phandelver. Phandelver is a small mining city resting on the ruins of an older, destroyed mining metropolis. And recently Gundren has been excavating in the area and he needed materials and other sundries. So he contracted them as there had been reports of highway bandits on the trail to the city itself. Upon arriving in the small town, they were to then meet up with Gundren and his escort known as Sildar, but unfortunately none of this actually came to pass. En route, they were ambushed by goblins, and while they were successful in defending themselves, and they did capture one of the goblins for information, they discovered that the goblins had taken captive and possibly captured both Gundren and Sildar. So they made their way to a nearby cave where the goblins had been operating out of. After clearing the cave, they discovered Sildar, who had been very badly injured. He told them that both he and Gundren, who had left ahead of the adventurers to meet up with Gundren's brothers, had been ambushed and separated. Sildar, along with the party and a captive goblin that they made, Splug, they called him, they made their way back to the mining town of Phandelver to deliver the wagon and decide on the next steps to take. Sildar urged the party to find his contact in the city, Iarno Albrecht, a wizard. They learned that Iarno had gone missing in very recent days. So the party asked around. They were asking the villagers about Iarno, and they were attacked by bandits. They learned that the bandits had taken up residence in a nearby abandoned manor rather recently, and that, of course, the bandits were extorting gold from the town. Urged by the populace of Phandelver, the adventurers raided the manor only to discover that Iarno had been working with the bandits. While the wizard did manage to escape, they did manage to locate a message sent to him warning of their arrival. While it wasn't signed with a name, there was a stamp of a black spider that served as their next clue. The party returned to Phandelver believing that they would be received as heroes. However, the townmaster, known as Harbin Wester, did not agree. There were more dangers outside of the town, and he needed their help. He asked them to deal with orc raiders that were patrolling the nearby trail. He heard rumors of a necromancer that had taken up shop in a nearby mountain valley. He believed that the bandits were, in fact, protecting the city from these outside threats, and he demanded that they set their wrongs right. Therefore, the party headed out. Along the way, their captive goblin, again, Splug, became inspired by the party and decided to join their cause, seeking to right his past wrongs. The party killed the orcs. They met with Kost, the Than necromancer, who in exchange for their lives asked them to perform a very simple task. Just talking with a banshee that could just murder them with a glance. Nothing too serious. They also investigated an abandoned city that had been overrun by a living forest. It was around this point that Splug realized that he must tell the party that the leader of the goblins resided nearby in an old collapsing castle. The party, believing that Gundren might be held there, made due haste to the castle and encountered the leader of the goblins, Gorl the Bugbear. In his throne room, badly beaten, rested Gundren. During this fight, though, there were losses. Splug rallied to the defense of his new friends, and in order to secure the victory that they needed, he sacrificed his life. Devastated by this loss, the party entered into a rage, laying waste to all enemies. Upon interrogating a drow elf that they found, the party learned that all of this had been orchestrated by the Black Spider, Nesnar the drowish elf. Gundren and his brothers had recently discovered the location of a magical forge, known as the Forge of Spells, which resided in a location only known as the Wave Echo Cave. Throughout history, this forge had been used to craft devastating magical weapons and artifacts, but a disaster hid it and erased it from history. Gundren had been excavating and located the entrance, and Nesnar, in his interrogations, discovered the entrance and demands to have the Forge of Spells for his own means. Gundren urged the party to return to Phandelver and stop Nesnar from bringing the Sword Coast to its knees with the power of the Forge of Spells. With this heavy heart, they buried Splug and left the castle to crumble, carrying Gundren back to Phandelver. Upon their return to Phandelver, the townmaster demanded that they remain, worried that the town would come under the rage of Nesnar if they left. Distracted by this, the party acted fast to work with the villagers in order to vote to impeach the townmaster and elect in his place one of the other locals, Halia Thornton, the local mining guildmaster. The party managed to do so, and on the next day, they laid siege to the Wave Echo Cave, encountering hordes of the undead, hobgoblins, orcs, goblins, natural traps, and traps laid by the ancient workers of the forge. It was after much danger that they finally met Nesnar in battle, a battle that nearly killed the party. However, with quick thinking, the party laid their weapons in the Forge of Spells, empowering them and granting them the edge needed to prevail. With Nesnar dead and one of Gundren's brothers found alive, the party returned to Phandelver only to be met by Kost the Necromancer. He had been informed of the death of Splug, and he had a proposition for the party. In exchange for entering into his service to assist with a mission, he would bring Splug back to life. With this, the party split, Chug accompanying Sildar and Gundren back to Neverwinter to secure men and resources necessary to continue the excavation of the Wave Echo Cave. As for the rest of the party, they must meet up with Kost in order to learn what their task will be. What lies ahead of them is difficult to see, as the mists of fate approach and thicken around them. It is our hope that you will join us for Season 1 of Feral Attraction Plays D&D. We will begin playing soon, and episodes will be released starting in winter of 2017. Thanks, and as always, be well.